It's funny, I never really aspired to leadership. I was a management major in college, and I never equated management to leadership, but I kept getting assignments and projects where I was using my leadership skills more and more and being identified as a leader. I remember once working on a project, even in college, where we did group work. And you had to evaluate the people on your team. And one of my evaluations from my peers was that I was a leader in the group. And I found that the more leadership positions I had, the more I was being offered because I was doing it and doing it well. So it just kind of not something I aspired to, but something I fell into. I think a great leader is someone who wants to make the people who works for her better than her, that works with the people on their staff and their peers to make sure that those individuals don't make the same mistakes that she made, and that she helps point out the landmines and then helps them to develop their greatest strengths and help them come over their weaknesses so that they can start in from where this person starts and get even better from that. And I think the qualities of a great leader are someone who listens to others, who collaborates, who creates great teams, and brings everybody together to work on solutions as opposed to just dictates what's going to happen. I think it's important to make sure that women have the leadership skills by making sure that they understand what they are. What is success in our organization? What are the skills and attributes that an individual, that a female needs to succeed? And make sure that they know that. And then provide the opportunities, whether it's training, chances to work on certain clients or certain projects, give them the opportunity to learn what they need to learn to develop those skills and to go from there. And I think it's really important to expose the women that they work with to training, different thoughts, whether they're soft skills or technical skills. But I really think it's important to move into leadership level is to understand what I need to be a leader in that organization. The biggest leadership lesson that I've learned is to be yourself. It's so difficult when you're trying to be somebody else. It's okay to look at other people and see what makes them successful, what qualities and traits that they have that you want to emulate, but you can't be anybody else but yourself. And you'll spend a lot of time and effort trying to do that when being yourself is more natural and building upon that. So the biggest leadership lesson is to be yourself. I think if 46% of the women feel like they don't have the same opportunities, then it's absolutely a true fact because they're not going to apply themselves or they're not going to look for those opportunities because they're not going to think they're available to them in general. I mean, that certainly is not across the board. But if you don't think that you have the opportunity, you're going to put your time elsewhere and not fight for something that you don't think that you have. So I do think that is true, and I think that we wish that it wasn't, but I think that if people have that in their mind, that it's going to hold some people back, and that's going to kind of self-perpetuate. The advice I would give to a woman who is looking to be in a management or a leadership level is first, figure out what skills that you need to be there. If you are looking for a really technical role, then make sure that you have the technical abilities and background to handle that role. If it's a role where you're spending more time managing people or projects, then making sure that you have the soft skills and the leadership skills to do that. So understanding that, put yourself in the position so that you have the opportunity to get the training and also the exposure to do that. The best thing that can ever happen to you in your career if you get promoted because someone says she was already doing that job, she was already in that role, she was already showing the attributes of that, and then it's also an easy transition for you to step into that role because you were already working that way and you're already recognized as a leader or a manager on your team. One thing that I like to do is listen to podcasts. So in developing my skills and when recommending to people coming up along what they should do. I like the Women at Work podcast from Harvard Business Review because they talk about a lot of different issues and they give you a lot of resources. And they have people of 3 different levels that manage the conversation, and then they usually bring an outside expert to talk about whatever the topic is of the day. So I've really appreciated listening to that and hearing the perspective from those 3 different parts in someone's career. I said I would be scheduler woman because I have to write it down. It has to be in my calendar. And I'm going to put on your calendar too to make sure that you're there and you know and you can schedule around it. So I picture myself in a nice silver cape coming to a neighborhood near you to make sure that your calendar is up to date.